Hi everyone! Today the podcast will be in English, so I hope my accent will be fine for you. Otherwise, I'll put the subtitles, don't worry. Today I'm welcoming someone truly special, someone who doesn't just work in migration, she embodies it. Rina arrived in Australia as an international student, became a permanent resident, a citizen, and ultimately a registered migration advisor. She has guided thousands of migrants through the same journey. She's an entrepreneur, a community builder, the host of Community Impact podcasts, and the winner of awards such as Women in Business 2016 and Young Community Achiever of the Year. Her story is one of resilience, reinvention, and impact. Rina, thank you so much for being here. It is an honor to have you on the season 2 of my podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me, Neno.
It's gonna be weird for you because you used to be the interviewer. Today you are being the interviewed, right?
That's true. That's true. It is a bit weird for me, actually. Yeah. Talking, I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm going to talk about myself? What?
you are going to talk about yourself. Yeah, so I have so many questions for you. Of course, I know you already. We got the chance to meet in France because you're traveling a lot. But before everything, can you tell me a bit more about yourself? Who were you before moving to Australia? What kind of family did you grow up in? What shaped you the most in your early years?
Wow. It's a long story, but I'll shorten it, okay?
Well,
I
you're fine.
was,
You can talk. You can talk. We have time. People want to know
thank
your
you,
story.
thank you. Have you ever been to India, Meno?
I haven't, unfortunately, haven't.
Okay, yeah. So I grew up in India. I am from South India, but I grew up in the western part of India near Mumbai, right? So I can speak Tamil, that language, that's my mother tongue. And then I can speak Gujarati, which is the western India place where it's called Gujarat. I grew up there. I can read and write Hindi, Gujarati, because Hindi is the national language of our country, India. And of course, we grew up in a small city, but one of the best schools. We have different classes of studies. So you have state board, you have ICSE board, and you have central board. So we were like in the ICSE international board, you from the best school. I had a very wonderful childhood, but unfortunately, my father passed away when I was like 11, and then followed by my mom. So life was not the same. So I moved to Australia almost like when I was like in 2009. And my life changed. In India, when you do not have a male figure in your family, it's very hard to grow up. So, yes, I did find a lot of struggle. My family, I come from like seven kids. I'm the sixth out of the seven kids. And, just my mom was there to raise us all. But one thing that was sure is, that if you want something, and you go, you discipline it, and you are consistent, you can have it. Whenever I sit on the terrace and look at the plane, with the condition that I grew up, I never thought I will ever fly, but it's you who should make it happen. So I started work, like taking tuitions for the children when I was 12 and a half. So, I had my pocket money. Then I was 16. I actually traveled to another city to teach English. Because when you come from South India, you're known for very good English. I'm like, okay, the opportunities were great. And the moment I started teaching English there, I saw people were leaving the country. So you need to give IELTS, PTE, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT to go to USA, UK, Australia. And I was like, wow, and I was the one teaching them. After 2 years, the kids used to come back and they had to give the exam again for permanent residency purposes. And they used to tell me, why don't you go to overseas? And I tried to go to UK, United Kingdom,
Oh, wow.
because
Okay, at first.
Bollywood shows that, UK movie. So that was the time when UK was sending all the Indian students back because there was no job, there was no accommodation. So I had to drop that idea. Then I applied for USA. Of course, who doesn't want to go to USA, right? America. And then in America, the Indians have to go and give a test interview, not a test, an interview. And you have to book online. It first time in the history the booking was blocked, so I couldn't go for the interview. So then I'm like, all right, let me try Australia. And I got it. It was magic.
Amazing. So
So it was,
you said you got it, but people don't know you were not going on a working holiday visa. And most of people that are listening to my podcast are French people and they go to Australia with a working holiday visa. So what type of visa did you apply for?
all right. Are you ready to hear that?
Yes.
I went to Australia to study automotive mechanic. So I'm a qualified motor mechanic.
This is a crazy story. I actually completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm a qualified motor mechanic. So even in India, when I was asked to come to Delhi for the interview, they were like, "Why do you want to go to Australia to study mechanic?" Because everybody over there, 25 of them from the agency that we applied for student visa, were 24 were boys. I was the only girl. And the lady and the guy in the interview is asking, "What? You want to go do that?" And I said, "Yes, I want to go do that." And the 24 boys got rejected. I was the only one to get the visa.
No way.
I'm like, okay. Because I had a story, because my father was a mechanic and his workshop was closed. And I wanted to go study and come back and open the workshop. So I really had a reason to go. And magically, I got the visa, right?
So you were a genuine student?
Yes, I loved it. I loved it that I got the opportunity, and I'm very grateful to the universe, God, my parents. And I must say that when I left, it was 31st of December 2009, 2 days after my birthday celebration. I landed in Australia, Brisbane. I felt home at the airport. I still remember my mom was alive that time. I called my mom and I said, "Mom, there's Barbie and Ken walking around at the
I know.
airport."
They're so
You know,
beautiful.
it is like all blonde. I'm like Barbie and Ken because I never saw a foreigner there. And no, I'm so grateful I made the right choice.
I know, yeah. So
Yeah,
you arrived in Brisbane for a 2-year student visa, I'm
that's
guessing.
right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what was the story after that?
All right. The story was I arrived in Australia. 27th of January was so 31st of December I arrived. 27th of January was the orientation in school. So I went to school and the orientation finished. All boys in the class because it's a mechanic course, right? So the teacher in the end told me that you have to pay this much fees. And I told her, I already paid. She said, no, Reena, this fees is pending. 27 days after I landed. My agent never paid the school.
No way. So
Imagine
you
that
were
manner.
scammed?
I was scammed. Coming from the
Oh, wow.
best school in India, if I can be scammed, imagine the others. That's what I always tell myself. And when you are a middle class in India, you put everything, all your savings, everything to come to Australia or go to any country. I cannot go back. People are waiting because they think that I'm going to change their life because families depend on me, right? They put everything and sent me here. I can't go back. I used to work, I used to teach IELTS, I used to work in a restaurant, in an Indian restaurant. I still am grateful to those people. I used to actually work as a waitress, and also I worked in a company called Gold Buyers. So I used to buy gold and pay
That's
cash.
crazy.
Yeah.
Really?
So that's how I paid my fees in the first semester because it's not possible. I did
So
not take the loan money. Yeah.
So I have two questions. As you know, and as probably people know, when you apply for a student visa, you need a COE, confirmation of
Yes.
enrollment.
Yeah.
Usually you cannot get the COE if you
Correct.
haven't
Yeah.
paid, right? So
That's
how
right.
did you manage to apply for a student visa if the school didn't get the money? Did they
Very good
give maybe
question.
a COE deposit only or something?
That's correct. So the school was only given the initial deposit and mentioned that the students will pay it later. That's why the teacher told me, hey, the principal lady, this is remaining because we paid the whole amount and the remaining amount wasn't paid. And 15,000 Australian dollars is not a small amount,
Yeah,
especially
that's a
coming from
lot.
India, right?
That's a lot
So
of
we do
money.
not have chômage, we do not have savings, we do not have things like that, you know? So yes, that was the thing. And you know what? It made me really strong. I made sure that the problems that I faced through the 2 years, nobody was there to guide me. I promised myself that I'll study migration law. That's how I
How old,
became a migration agent.
how old were you at that time?
Oh my God, that's a very personal question. I was 20, 20. I turned
Yeah,
20. Oh
so
my
you
God.
arrived in a country that you don't know nothing about and
No
you're being
one.
scammed. You're going to study something very unusual and you have to figure it out by yourself.
Absolutely.
So
And
you
you know
come
what?
from a
Australia
very,
gives you that opportunity.
I
Australia
know,
makes you feel at home. I still remember the home that I felt when I landed at the airport. I still remember the day exactly. Australia gives you the opportunity. Australia considers everybody equal. Australia makes sure that you actually can do it if you want it.
Australia gives you butterfly in your
That's
belly when you
right.
get
That's a good one.
there.
That's a good one.
So can you tell us a little bit more about the requirement for an Indian student? Because I'm not used to deal with India, so
Mhm.
I think it's very interesting to know how it works also
Yeah.
for international students and especially Indian people, because I think for French people it's completely different. So I'm talking back then at that time, like in
Yeah.
your time, because maybe it has changed, it has evolved in 2025. So, but how was it before?
It hasn't evolved at all. It's the still same. We still have to get our COE, pay the money. We need to get really good IELTS bands. 6 is the one that gives you to the bachelor's, 6.5 for the bachelor's and master's. If your English is not good, okay, if your English is not good, the university doesn't give you the admission. Getting a visa for Indian passport holders has become very tough. If you apply for a diploma and advanced diploma and you have an Indian passport, forget it, you're going to get a visa. You need to have a bachelor degree COE or a master degree COE because everybody knows when somebody from the third world country is coming to Australia, they're going to stay, right? So you have to prove that you're a genuine student. Majority of the time, Mano, yes, people are genuine. You know why? Because people who can come to Australia, who can afford, are the middle class people. And the middle class people have to study. They have to study. They have no options in their life, you know?
Is there
Because
any financial requirements as well?
yes. So you have to show the normal 29,700 something that plus the 2 years of fees. Usually if you show that 2 years of fees you have paid, chances of getting a visa, that's what people think, is higher because Australia wants to know that you're not going to be dependent on them, right? So you are actually coming from a good family, come here, study and go back. That's what they want, right? So of course IELTS English requirements is very high, of course, and bachelor and master, the chances of getting the COE is higher. Diploma and advanced diploma, I never tell students to come, but which is different for European students. Advanced
It
diploma,
is.
diploma is easy, right?
It is. It has become more difficult the last couple of years, and it used to be less difficult than it is. But I feel like things are settling, and it's kind of becoming back to normal. I don't know how you feel because you're a migration advisor today. What like it's not a question I was meant to ask you, but because we're talking about that, what do you think of migration today, nowadays?
I think the migration of Australia is improving. They want more skilled people in the country. They have realized that, okay, we do not want anyone just coming in who has money. We want someone who is skilled. So if you see the skilled migration that I'm doing right now are nurses, engineers, doctors, people in the healthcare sector are all very safe and are coming. Lots of UK nurses are qualified to come to Australia. People who are from Philippines, India, Dubai, Pakistan, Bangladesh, they move to UK as doctors, nurses, but getting a residency in that country is very tough. So people who are actually right now in UK are all moving to Australia on direct permanent residency. So carpenter, welder, steel fixer, they all are like getting there. Like they realized, okay, we need here a person whose skill assessment is done and they are qualifying to become a skilled migrant.
Okay,
So
that's
Australian
interesting.
migration, I do love it.
Yeah, well,
Do
this is
you?
your job today. I do love it, but I prefer international education.
Yes, absolutely.
I
Yeah,
give
I
I
do.
give you the job of migration. It's something very picky, and you don't want to do any mistake. You don't want to play with
I
people's
do.
lives, you know.
Absolutely.
So I'm working alone, and I can't do it all by myself. So I need to be surrounded by people that know what they're talking about, and you're the right person. I'm glad I found you.
Thank you, Mano. Thank you. As you
So
mentioned, migration is people's lives involved. You're right about that.
yeah. So let's go back to when you arrived in Australia. You said you were being scammed, and this is also one of the reasons you decided to study law. Can you pursue with the story?
Sure. So, what happens when a person coming from uh, India, I'm talking only about India in Southeast Asia. Once they come to the country, they haven't been back for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years to even see their family because it's expensive. They need to save and they send money back home too. Okay, all these things are involved. Now, the person who scammed me back home, right? Who's going to catch him? Do I have evidence? No, I don't. Because I transferred it to his bank and he will come and say, oh, it's all done. It's all, it's paid. And there's nobody there to fight for me, yeah? So usually students don't go back. They just get work, pay the school, finish. But I didn't do that. 2 years I studied. I applied for my 485 graduate visa and I got a bridging visa A. I applied for my bridging visa B. I went back to India. I made sure he's in jail. I had to report and made sure that he actually goes to jail because I was only one. And you saw my background, how I grew up. Imagine thousands of others he must have scammed. Because once you leave the country, you don't go back to fight. Why will you do that? All the energy, money has been put. It was expensive, but by God's grace, I had good job. I was working. I went back for 12 days. I
And
went
you
back
made
only for
sure
12 days.
you made
I
sure
made
that
sure.
like
Yes.
something happened, but like he actually went to jail, or like he had to pay a
Yeah, the cops
fine,
caught
or
him. He was, yes, the cops caught him. He was caught for some kind of I don't know the legislation for it, and he was taken to the prison and kept there because he not only scammed me, he scammed so many people and the
wow.
tax department. So they
He
figured
was
out
a
even the tax department there. So it all worked out well. And
such a
it,
fraud.
yeah, and it is not one. There are thousands of stories like this. That is the reason when people there are thousands of migration agents in Australia, right? Right? Choosing the right one is so important. And before choosing, do your own research about the agent as well as your particular questions, what you're going to ask. I always say, before asking me, did you do your research? If you've done the research, did you research about me? This is my Mara number. Did you see who I am? Rather
Super
than just
important.
going. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
100%.
yeah.
So your whole career started at the age of 16, let's say, teaching English in a migration firm. And then in Australia, you said you taught English as well. You
Yeah.
worked what was I know that you were also in fashion
That's
industry.
right. Yes. Yes. All
Explain it
right.
all. Like how, like where do you get that strength? Where do you get that motivation from? And how did you manage to do it all?
Oh my God. Wow. So, in the journey in Australia, I was realizing that every community was sticking to their own community because I like networking. I was feeling a bit lonely. So I'm like, what do I do? As a student, you're lonely, right? There's no
Mm-hmm.
family, there's no one. So I called the city council and I said, is there any volunteering jobs or anything I can come and help out you guys? And they said, oh, there's an event happening. Yes, absolutely, you can come and help us out. So I went to the Brisbane City Hall and I saw this event happening. It was a Christmas party for old age people. So I was the usher taking them in and making them sit. And I realized in the whole crowd, there was not one multicultural face in that event.
Okay.
And I'm like, this, and then I go to Indian events, then I go to Chinese events, then I go to Bangladeshi events, and I'm like, why is nobody coming together and creating one community, So I realized that okay, let's do something. Let's do something where music is there, where fashion is there, because women like to get dressed. Women love music. So I created a platform called Red Carpet Multicultural Fashion Show in 2015, and it was free. Everybody was invited to participate. So I had 71 nations dressed in their traditional dress and walking the stage showcasing their country.
Wow.
Yeah. And then that's the reason I won the Women in Business Community Achiever, Young Community Achiever, and the Queen's Baton Bearer. Because bringing all this community mano is not easy. Why? Your culture and my culture is different,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'm an Australian, but my roots are from India, right? You are Australian but French. Of course, you lived in Australia, but you're French.
Yeah.
Our food is different, our clothing is different, our way of thinking is different, our taste in men is different. You know what I mean? Everything is different. So, bringing everybody together is not easy because what I say might hurt you. We don't know how to communicate. It was a challenge. It was so successful, Mano, and I realized no, it's one life, come together. Australia is multicultural. If you want to stick to your own community, stay in your country. Why to be here, right? So
Yes,
yeah, I
100%.
created red carpet functions, and it really took off very well.
And so did it become eventually your full-time job at some point, or was it like more like associate like a club
Yes, it's an association. It's a non-profit
association?
association. It's still there. So I'm doing a fashion show in France in July next year. So showcasing 29 states of India. Here, there's so many Indian community in Marseille, in Paris. So they're having an event where I'm showcasing the 29 states of India dressed in their traditional attire next
Oh
year in
wow.
July.
Will I
Yeah.
be invited?
Will you be walking the stage? Then you'll be invited.
Okay, I will.
Ah, there you go.
Do you have the dates already? Do you know when?
It will be before 16th of July and between 1st and 16th of July. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Hopefully after the 6th, because before I will be on holiday.
Oh my, you guys are always on holidays.
It's my mom's birthday on the 2nd of
Okay.
July. So
Okay.
as you know, I moved to Marseille a couple of years ago, but I'm not from Marseille. I'm from Dunkirk, which is in the north
Yeah.
of France. So trying, to visit my family from time to time. I try to go every 6 months. So I'm going for Christmas in Dunkirk, and then I will be going in July. Yeah, every 6 months, and yeah. So let's keep me posted, keep
I
me in
will.
touch.
I
But
will.
I would love to
Dunkirk must be
see.
snowing.
Oh no, I don't think so.
Okay.
Global warmth now, climate
Yeah,
change.
no,
We
but it's
don't really
colder.
know.
Hey, it's
Sometimes it's
cold.
hot. It's colder than Marseille, obviously. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So did you how many functions did you do in Brisbane?
So one annual day is called the Red Carpet Multicultural Fashion Show, but Red Carpet Functions does small events like women get together, women in business, and we have one monthly dinners gathered. So I traveled because of red carpet to South Korea, Taiwan, China, Myanmar, Malaysia, showcasing the fashion show in every country. So that's where I got the opportunity. I even was invited in Taiwan in 2018 to meet the president because
Oh,
yeah, and I showcased a fashion show in Myanmar as well as in Taiwan.
wow.
So it is one big annual event, but the small events are conducted mainly it's for people in business. And my fashion show is promoting people who are making a difference in the community and small businesses. So small businesses like makeup artists, hairstylists, designers, they have the talent, but they don't have the voice. So I said, okay, let me be the voice for you and promoted them. And you know what? The people who actually walk the stage, the designers, makeup artists, hairstylists, they are still friends with me and they have their own designing shops around Brisbane, Queensland, Melbourne, Victoria. So they all have progress. It's been 10 years now.
Wow. Yeah, 10 years because 2015, that's when I arrived in
Yeah.
Australia first, and then yeah, 10 years later. So do you have a team that, can help you, that helps you with the
Yes, I
functions?
do have a team. So I have team in Australia, in Philippines, and India. So the team makes everything happen.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was in 2015. What did you do after? What did you do in the meantime? When did you become a migration advisor?
So 2015 I got my registration as a migration advisor, right? So I have always been a migration advisor, registered migration agent of Australia. But my main focus was to bringing cultures together. And you know what happened? All the cultures who are here are all migrants. So my work automatically somebody needed help. That's how I started helping the migrants to migrate to Australia and get their permanent residency. So it was always simultaneous. Never realized it would be working like that, but it really worked out well. Yeah.
Is it difficult to be a migration advisor, Mara?
Okay, very good question. So in the starting, I used to do it for free. Yes,
Really?
because yeah, because I thought, oh, people ask you advice, and you give them the advice, and they shop around. They go to different advisors and they shop around. So in that way, your energy, your time is wasted. But the moment you put a price on you, it all stops. So the moment you charge for your expertise, so
Mm-hmm.
of course when a person pays you for the consultation, then there's like it grows and they know. It's simple, like if there's a value, people think, oh, it's very nice. If there's free event, I wouldn't go. That means it
Yeah,
will be like everybody will be there, right?
100%.
So no, it really, then I got quality people who want to migrate. That's the reason I have the consultation. Because of consultation, I know which client to take and which client to say that, sorry darling, I can't help you, because many people are sitting out there who are going to take your money and say, sure, I'll get your work done, no problem, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, so I have been doing migration. It is a tough industry because you have to deal with people who are in a visa process,
Yeah,
right?
it is
Yeah.
difficult. But my question was more like, how do you become a migration agent? Like, what are the requirements? What did you study?
Ah,
Like
yes.
at the very beginning.
So you definitely need a bachelor degree. So I'm a qualified accountant of Australia. So that's how I got my permanent residency, right? So as a mechanic, I got my TR, uh, temporary residency. But then I had to do accounting degree to get my permanent residency, because as a mechanic I needed to get sponsored, and finding a sponsor is not easy. And even if you're getting sponsored, you need 1 year of work experience, right? i
Mm-hmm.
had I had only 6 months of work experience, and the other 1.5 year were unpaid work experience. It was internship, so it did not count towards my permanent residency. And at my time you needed 2 years of work experience, and right now it's only 1 year of work experience for a two sponsored visa. So you need to have a degree, bachelor degree, master degree, in order for you to go ahead and do a graduate diploma course in migration law. Okay, so it can be 1 year, 1.5 year. It is like around 4 to 6 subjects you have to finish.
Wow. Okay. And
And yeah,
why did you choose to study migration and accounting? Like, why did you pick
yes,
those courses?
very good question. Oh my God. I wanted to stay in Australia. And I'm like, wow, what do I do? I want to be in this country. What is the best qualification? Accounting was in the peak. The files were being picked up. And I'm like, all right, this is my chance. So I studied accounting. I hate numbers. I do
I know.
not like accounting. I actually had teachers who used to personally sit and teach. I used to pay tutors to teach me because it never went in. And you know what, Menno? I have high distinction in all because when I study. Indian study. Yeah,
You're
they
not
grew up.
doing it halfway.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a high distinction. I got my accounting degree. I applied for my 189 visa with the point system, skilled visa as an Australian accountant. I got my permanent residency 2020, August 21, 2014. I got my permanent
Wow.
residency. Yeah.
Wow.
And then
Amazing.
I applied for my citizenship in 2015. And then I got my Australian citizenship. So, migration law, you need to have a bachelor degree beforehand in order for you to study. I studied from Griffith University.
Okay, that's a
Yeah.
beautiful university.
And
I
then
have
you
two
need to
students there.
have, yeah, you need to have internship. So once you finish, you need to be working under a migration agent or a migration lawyer for the whole practice to learn for a year.
Obviously, yeah, of
Yeah.
course, yeah, because you can't learn by yourself. Even if you give
Yeah.
free advices to train yourself, but it's never gonna be the same if
Yeah.
you're
I had
under
really good
someone's
mentors.
supervision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. And okay, so it is a funny and interesting journey for you because it was actually quite long for you to get the PR. You
That's
arrived
right.
in 2009, you got the PR in 2015 or 14, you
14.
said?
14.
14.
Yeah.
So it's quite long. It's
Yes.
I've known people that were that it was much longer for them, but I've also known people that got the PR within 2 years sometimes.
I should have been one. No one guided me. There was nobody. And they made me do another course because they wanted money. They did
Money.
not guide me. Okay, do this, do this, do this, and you get no. They're like, oh, study a bit more, study a bit more. Oh, do this. Oh no, you cannot do that. So that's why it's better to see somebody who is not benefiting from you.
I
So
feel
yeah,
I
no.
feel like that's what student advisor say because I used to work in a like before starting my own agency. I used to work in another student agency, and I feel like obviously, it's a private company, so you need to make money, you need to have a good turnover. But I feel like most of the people that I was advising, I wasn't advising them right. I was pushing courses and trying to get them the longest student visas. While now, with my experience, I think that they could have gotten a skilled visa much quicker and much
That's
easier.
correct.
But we
Yeah,
didn't work with the right migration agents. We didn't have all the information available on Google, and it was not the same time. It was not the same time of the same information available, and yeah, and also I think that's the reason why I didn't get the PR. I was not well advised, and
Mm,
that's a shame. But it's still fine for me. I mean, because I'm 32, well, turning 33 years old, so I'm still within the 35 years old limitation.
yeah.
But still, it's becoming more and more urgent if I want to take the move and move to Australia. I think it's very important, as you mentioned, to be well advised and find the right migration advisor.
And you have time till 45, age 45. You can apply for permanent residency. So it's not
Okay,
35. Yeah. It's upon the points that we calculate. So there are various ways you can calculate the points, accumulate the points, and have it. So till the age of 45. So
okay,
yeah. So
okay,
yeah.
interesting. Okay, so let's move forward with my other question. Did you created another company, because I know you do many things. Like what project, what entrepreneurial project have you started in your life?
So, Aussie Dreams Migration is my migration, my baby that I started. And because I never used to do my own migration, as you know, I'm not a business person. I cannot ask money. So I used to give advice for free, and I had other enterprise red carpet functions where I used to get, like I was happy doing my own thing. But I had a job, like I worked for law firms and all. But then I said to myself, okay, there should be something to start my own. And I have the best team I work with in the migration. I have my best friends who are working with me for the last 7 years, and now they have joined me in my company. So you need to have great team. You need to have people who have knowledge. So Aussie Dreams Migration, what it does is we do partner visas. That's our main thing that we promote. The reason is one person is a citizen, the other person is a migrant, and it's a 2-year process. And anywhere it goes wrong, you can lose your visa application, your refusal can happen. So partner visas, then come skilled visas, because I love to tell people, don't come in student visas. Come as a skilled migrant. You're an engineer, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you're a carpenter, winemaker, anybody. So I am doing their skills assessment and making sure that I put their expression of interest and wait for them to get their file picked up. And I also tell them, see, if the file is not picked up, you're not putting your money for visa application. You're not wasting your money until your file is picked up. So isn't it a great thing? Because expression of interest are free to lodge. It's not even going to cost you. There are certain states that charge you $300, $350 or something, but it's for free. And you are an engineer, doctor, of course you're making money. You're not like just sitting at home, So skilled migration is my go-to. And then comes sponsorship. Now, as you know, student visa after graduate 485 visa, it's very hard for them to go back to student visa. And the visas are being like scrutinized. So now students can now see if they are qualified to go and find a sponsor. Example, if they are in Australia for 2 years of study, example, carpenter. In the 2 years of study, they are working part-time in a company. After 2 years, they have 1 year work experience as a full-time carpenter, right? That is acceptable in order for them to apply for their 482 sponsored visa, which will give them PR after 2 years. So there are so many things that the students right now can check. Do I have a sponsor? And everybody's like, oh, Reena, it's very hard to find sponsor. No, it's not. Prepare your best resume. Australia is huge. Western Australia, Northern Territory, Tasmania, the employers are looking for people. They do not have people and they're ready to sponsor you. We are not trees. So don't stay in one place. Get up and move. If Northern Territory is calling you, go. You're there for 2 years, but after 2 years, you're a permanent resident of Australia and you move everywhere you want, Yeah. So, sponsored visa. And then my favorite one is, of course, student visas, which I do not do, right? But I advise. I'm a career counselor, right? I tell my advice is, if you have finished your 12th grade, so majority of the Indian families ask me to counsel their children because after their 12th grade, what will be the best for them to move abroad or something that they like. There are so many students I meet and they are nurses and they hate their job. And I say, what do you want to do? I said, Australia, once you get your PR, you leave and you can do anything you want.
You can travel the world.
Yes, you can travel the world with that strong passport, But you know what, Mano? I'm jealous of you. You have the best passport in the world.
I think so, right? Yeah.
No.
The situation in France is not the best in the world, but we've got a very strong passport and it's very
That's right.
appreciated.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Very, very fortunate. And the food is good.
The food is good. Yeah. And so besides migration, what else do you do are you an entrepreneur? Do you consider yourself an entrepreneur?
I do. So when I came to Australia in 2010, I got the opportunity to host a radio show. They invited me to speak about student life, and they offered me to do a job. They're like, "Can you be our radio presenter?" I started my work in a Radio Brisbane in Australia, in Brisbane, where I used to be the host of the radio show. Followed by an Indian television, my show was called Moments with Reena at that time in 2012, 13, 14, and 15. And then till 2018. And after that, I was invited to join Indus Television, where I do my community impact show. My community impact show is people who are making a difference in the community by bringing in their expertise. So I feel definitely I'm an entrepreneur, and I think something is there that helps me. You know what I say? Australia is the land of opportunities. Anything you touch here turns into gold. So any career
beautiful.
you touch, definitely it turns into gold.
That's a
Yeah.
very beautiful sentence. So you've got your podcast, and that's why I was saying at the beginning of the interview that it must be weird for you today to be the interviewed because you used to be the interviewer.
Yeah.
How long have you been doing podcasts for?
So since 2016. So before even podcast was a podcast and the social media started, I was doing the podcast for people, especially Bollywood people, Bollywood stars who come to Brisbane, come to Australia. I used to interview them. So
Is there
that's how my
any?
career started. Huh?
Is there any Bollywood star in Australia?
So every event, and there's a Asia Pacific event, Melbourne Film Festival, the Bollywood stars used to come to Australia. So that's why I used to be the host for them, and that's where I used to interview them. So that's
You
how
must
my
have.
career got like really big, because I got all these stars and people trusting me that I can handle it. I'm like, wow, okay, that's amazing. And lots of I was the MC for so many shows, weddings, and yeah, it worked out so well. So my community impact has been running for since 2016, doing the uh, doing interviewing people not only from Australia, from all over the world. That's why I travel
Wow,
and
that's
meet people
beautiful.
and do the interviews. Yeah.
Would you say that you're a an influencer?
Um.
Because you've got many people following you on Instagram, but there's a difference between influencer and just having people that following you because they like you. Like, what do you call, like, who are you today if you have to, present yourself? Like, what do you do? I'm Rina the influencer. I'm Rina the entrepreneur. I'm Rina, like, how do you consider yourself?
I think Reena, the entrepreneur, and especially the community impact host. I'm the host of the shows because, yes, when you say influencer, if you can see, my posts are all comedies. I make fun of me. I say the real thing, glamour and all is for like, after that I have to go wash my dishes. Right? So yes, I'm lucky that people do follow and see my stories, and especially my Instagram is separate to Reena the Visa Guru. So my new page that I have started is Reena the Visa Guru, where I give guidance and advice. But the one that I have, Reena Augustine, is where I do my podcast. So podcast, yes, because so many people I go and interview, and there are so many people I interviewed here in France who are migrants, people who are India, so many business people, so many guests. And the one thing I learned is everybody has a story. It's
That's for
crazy,
sure. Yes.
right? So I
Yeah.
want to share that story and tell the story of people.
That's beautiful. And do you still have dreams?
Dreams. Give me an example.
For example, my dream would be to migrate to Australia. So, I know that at some point I have to work through this goal. My dream for mine Australia is to reach a certain amount of turnover of clients. That's my dream. My third dream would be that the season 2 of my podcast works well and that I manage to get leads or have another source of income from that podcast, and maybe another dream would be to travel to Lapland. That's another dream.
Oh, wow. I love all your dreams. Very good question. So, when I find guests to interview, I ask my team members, can you find somebody who's not been interviewed? They do not have a lot of followers. And I want to know their real story. That, okay, what are they doing? Because they're not active on social media, but what is happening in their life, right? I want to know. For me, I want to post everything in social media. That's my life. I love it. So if you're not posting, what are you doing? I want to know what you're doing with your life. And people who actually make a difference are like not on social media. They're not like putting out them like, hey, I want to know what's happening. My goal is to travel around the world and meet people and ask their journey of life. That's my whole aim. Yeah.
Life purpose.
Yeah, I really,
That's
it's a
beautiful.
huge impact. I want to travel around the world and make sure. And while I'm doing that, you know what I do? Which is true,
Tell me.
okay? I say, the best country in the world is Australia. You should migrate.
I thought you were gonna say France. I was like, you've changed
Okay,
your.
yeah. Well. See, Europe is Europe. France is number one. There's no two ways about it, okay? For me, France is very close to my heart because I finished, like, I won't say finished. So my whole life in Australia, I grew up in Australia. It's my home. But then I travel the world, then I come to France and I'm like, where am I? Who are these people? They have the best life. They are so laid back. They don't care. I'm like, I want to be like you. And everybody is classy. I'm like, all right, I better go do shopping.
That's
Yeah.
true. Well, I wouldn't say that we are laid back compared to Australia.
Yeah, see, laid back in a different way. Laid back means they don't care what you wear, what you do. I don't know, that's what I felt. And there is everybody says, oh, French people are so. I never faced that. Even in Paris. See, I can't say about Paris because I didn't live there. I have moved around and been in Marseille for almost 1.5 years in and out of Australia. People actually try to speak to English with me. People in grocery store, people if I don't know, they don't like turn away or walk away. They try, with broken English. So I see that the south of people actually try. People
That's
try to help
beautiful.
you. But
That's
in
beautiful.
Australia, in India, everybody's like, oh, French are too rude. No, they're not. If you want to know, you need to move, live, you need to learn rather than just saying they're rude. But you guys have that look where it says, you know what, I don't give a damn, bye, which is a good thing because you can't be like always people pleasing.
Yeah.
French are not people pleasers,
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
for sure.
Yeah.
Is
I
is
mean,
there a lot of is there a lot of Indian in Marseille?
yes, a big community in Marseille.
Big
Paris is
community?
full. Paris is full. You know why? And France because Pondicherry. Pondicherry is a French colony in India, and they all come because they can speak French. So they
Yeah.
come here and they do the job, and lots of Indian community people in Marseille and in Paris. Yeah,
That's a good thing for your podcast.
that's right. That's right. The first thing I ask people, do you speak English? Before I ask them for my because yeah, people don't
Would you
speak
be
English.
would you be able to do an interview in French?
Ah,
No.
j'ai pas parlé français. Is that right?
Yes, that's
No. Oh,
correct.
it's right. It's correct.
Yes, of course.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes. Let's actually end up this conversation on a French sentence.
Oh my God. Tell me.
Well, you tell me. You tell me a sentence that you know perfectly with a perfect French accent.
Okay. Okay. Merci, ma chérie.
Merci, Rina. Thank you so much for your time. And it was very lovely to see you again. Bye
Thank you so
bye.
much. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.